It is February 9th, and I'm super excited to be talking to you guys about this topic. It's something I'm really passionate about and I love, and I hope I give you guys lots of takeaways that you can implement in your own business. I did do slides, and so, sorry, I'm like reading the chat still. I'll stop and I'll go back to that. But I did slides that I'm going to take you guys through, and I will put the slides up in Soar in case you guys want those, because there is a ton of information. When I was going back through it, I was going like, oh, should I delete some of this? There's a lot. So if you get overwhelmed, sorry, but there's a lot of good information, so you can rewatch the call, and I'll have the slides up there as well. So I'm just going to share my screen. Okay, and just before we get started, I just wanted to remind everyone, the Challenge Pack specials this month are 21-Day Fix, 21-Day Fix Extreme, and Size. And I hope you guys are all on a cup team as well and rocking that and checking in. If you guys aren't checking in with your cup team and you're waiting for someone else to check in with you, reach out to your cup team. Be the leader. Even if your leader's not stepping up and doing it, make sure that someone is talking. You guys are talking every day and pushing each other and reminding each other of your goals. Don't let your cup team stop working after the first week of the month. That happens a lot with cup teams. Don't do that. Stay engaged and push yourselves to have the best month ever. All right. So lessons of a life coach. So I went to Tony Robbins in October of last year, and I kept hearing a lot about life coaching. And it's kind of funny because I was the person, a lot of you guys know this about me, that was never into personal development until I started coaching. My husband Carson was opposite. He was always super into it and so excited about it, and I was never excited to listen to what he had to say about it. Like, it was like nails on a chalkboard to me, and he would be showing me his vision boards and things, and I was like, that's nice, and he'd try to get me to read books, or it would be playing on audio in his truck, and I was like, can we please listen to music? I do not want to listen to this. So for me to go from that to actually investing in a life coach for myself is a complete 180, and it's completely changed my life. Like, personal development is huge. I know it's the reason why I am in this business and where I am today in this business. And my life coach has really helped me get centered. And it's not like I have these huge conversations with her that are life-changing per se, but she gives me these little tidbits that are so helpful in my business. And it doesn't seem like a huge thing, but when you do it day in and day out, just like everything we tell, like 3 Vitals and things like that, it makes a huge impact on your business. And so I tried to go back through, I've been talking to her for several months now, and pick out the things that I've implemented in my business that have made a big difference. So some of them are big, some of them are small, but all of them have really helped me with my business, and I hope they do the same for you guys. Sorry, hold on 1 second. It's not. Okay, so I gotta move my face so I can see. All right. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is where your focus goes, your energy flows. This was one of my biggest takeaways from Up when I was with Tony Robbins, and it's so true, and I think that we forget that a lot. So if you're focusing on negative things, or focusing on why this may not work for you, or focusing on your kids always fighting, or focusing on your house always being a mess, or focusing on any of that stuff, the dishes piling up in your sink, just even little things like that, that's where your energy is going to go. And when you focus on the things that make you unhappy, you're going to get more things that make you unhappy. And so the first thing she taught me was to do incantations. This was really out of my comfort zone. And when she told me to do this, like, I had to do the exercise with her on the phone, and I was so uncomfortable. And so basically an incantation is an affirmation, which we all know what an affirmation is, but it's said with intensity. It's said with a knowledge that it's true, even if it's not true yet for you. An incantation needs to be personal, present, positive statement said with intensity. So personal, it needs to say I. Present is I am, I have, I will, I can. So it's not I might, or when it happens, or if it happens. So you're talking to yourself like it's already happened. And so when I made my incantations with my life coach, I made 4, and I started saying them every day. And so I would say them out loud every morning when I woke up. And you say it with power, you say it with intensity, you say it with purpose, you say it with drive. You even pay attention to your stance and where you're sitting so you're not slumped over. And we're going to talk about that in a second. So I want you guys to think about incantations that even if they're not true yet, you want them to be true. So I'm going to give you some examples. Examples of incantations. So if your goal, these are your goals, but if your goal is to be maybe a 6-figure earner in Beachbody, that could be an incantation. So you would say, I am a 6-figure earner, or I am making $100,000 with my coaching career. Or if that's not your goal, whatever your goal is, you plug it in. Or I love the balance I have in my life, which is one of mine actually, because last year I was feeling really unbalanced and that I wasn't focusing enough on certain things and I wanted to have balance everywhere. And so that was one of mine. I am making X amount working 20 hours a week. If one of your goals is to work less time but make more or something like that. I have a team of thousands that are passionate and focused on helping others achieve their goals. I have traveled the world. I always have more than enough money. I am wildly, wildly wealthy. I'm a confident leader. I am attracting extraordinary leaders. I'm a team leader. I'm an organizational leader. I'm an elite coach. I just put some examples in there, but these are all very personal and they need to be geared towards what's important for you. The trick when you're saying your incantations in the morning, first thing when you wake up, you're going to get up and you're going to say these each. So you need to come up with 3 to 4 and you're going to say them 10 times each out loud. And it's really helpful if you kind of look in the mirror and say them back at yourself. But you need to go somewhere you're not embarrassed. So like if you're going to be embarrassed saying it around your family or having people hear you, go somewhere quiet and make sure it's not, maybe you need to get your kids off to school first. But you have to say it and you have to believe it. So you can't say, I'm wildly, wildly wealthy. Like you don't believe that when you're saying it like that. You have to sit there, you have to look in the mirror and you have to say, I am wildly, wildly wealthy over and over and over again. Because when you say things that are really important to you that you want to have happen in your life over and over and over again, your brain starts to believe it, even if it's not true yet. I hope you guys believe that because it's so true. And so one of the most powerful things I've done is I came up with my 4 incantations, and you say them every day, 10 times a day, repeatedly in the mirror at yourself. And pretty soon your brain starts to believe it's true, and then pretty soon it is true. And so how you create the triad when you're saying your incantations is you need to think about some adjectives, things you want to feel like. So you need to come up with like 3 adjectives that are important to you. So it can be you want to be confident, you want to be caring, you want to be trusting. Think about adjectives that are important to you. And then think about a time you felt that way. So we're not going to have enough time on this call for you to come up with your triad, but basically you need to think about what adjectives make you feel great, make you want to be that way all the time. So a situation maybe when you just felt amazing, how did you feel in that situation? Think of adjectives and think about that situation. What were you doing with your body? Were you slumped over and like totally like had your head down? No. Like in a time where you were feeling the way you want to feel, you probably would have had your shoulders back. You would have been sitting up tall. You would have been alert. You wouldn't have been tired. So your triad, when you're saying these incantations, you have to have the physiology. So however that is for you. So for me, it was upright posture, shoulders back, head forward, chest up, steady breathing, not like short, shallow breathing, anything like that. And then my belief and focus, whatever you want to be focusing on, you want to say to yourself. So whether it's I'm a capable leader, I'm successful, I'm unstoppable, you want to say that to yourself. You don't have to say that out loud. But so you're going to sit down in the morning, you're going to get your physiology right. So whatever that is for you, if it's upright posture, shoulders back, whatever it is, you're going to sit down, you're going to get like that. Then you're going to think about what you want to believe about yourself, where you want your focus to be in your head. Then you're going to take your 4 incantations that you came up with, and you're going to say them out loud 10 times each. So you can write a little thing just like this chart here. So you can write down My physiology is this, and write it down. My belief or focus is this, and write it down. And then on the right-hand side, your language or your incantations, you're going to write your 4 incantations there. And then every morning, the first couple weeks, you'll probably have to look at your paper so you remember what you want to say. And then after that, you're going to remember, and you're going to say it, and you're going to start believing it more and more and more and more. So I would encourage you all to do that exercise and do it every day. And you'll be so surprised what happens in your life. Okay, so incantations was the very first thing. And so I've been doing them for months now, and they're really, really powerful. And I know I went through those so fast. So if you guys have questions on that at the end, I would be happy to answer them. Or if you need help coming up with wording or anything like that, just let me know. Okay, so the next slide is, again, tying into the incantations, but this has probably been the single most powerful thing that I've learned, and it seems really, really common sense, but it's not. Talking about our problems is our greatest addiction. Break the habit, talk about your joys. It's so easy for us to talk about things that we're unhappy about. It's so easy. It's like a bonding moment, like when you meet someone and they have this similar like problem, disease, their kids have the same behavior problem. It's just easy. Like you find a commonality with that and you feel connected to someone. But somehow in human nature, people have like said it's bad to talk about the good things because maybe you're too full of yourself, or you're too confident, or you're too happy and you don't want to make somebody feel bad because you're so happy. And so you stop talking about the good. And you start focusing on the bad. And that is not what you want to do, because when you do that, all of that focus and all that power of your brain focuses on the bad, and it brings more bad into your life. You got to focus on what you love, not what you hate. So I want to tell you a story. When I got my life coach in October, one of the biggest things we wanted was Carson, my husband. He hated the job he was in. He hated it. And I was really, really stressed because I wanted to get him out of that job. And so I would talk to my life coach and I'd say, my husband hates his job. It's affecting everything because it's really straining us, like emotionally, financially. Like he just, he hates it, so I hate it. And it's just coming in everywhere. And she said, you got to tell him to stop saying he hates his job. And I was like, well, how do you do that when he hates his job? Like, what am I supposed to do? And she's like, he needs to find things he loves about it. So I started thinking about that. And I was like, it gives us benefits for medical, so we love that. It gives us money to be able to pay our bills, so we love that. It provides him a way to stay busy, so we love that. And so we started thinking of all the things he loved, and I went and I talked to him and I said, Carson, my life coach, her name is Sarah, said that we need to stop focusing on why you hate your job. And he's like, okay. And I go, we have to start thinking about why you love your job. And so that was I got her in October. In November, we started doing that. So he started thinking about all the things he loved about his job. He stopped thinking about why he didn't like it, and he started just focusing on the love. I'm not joking, you guys. He started doing that for a week, and we were driving for Thanksgiving to Idaho, and we were talking about how he changed his mindset and how he was thinking about why he loved his job and all the things he was thankful for, and his phone rang. And it was this opportunity that he hadn't applied for. He hadn't applied for any jobs, but just randomly this person called him that saw his profile on LinkedIn and wanted to know if he was interested in interviewing for this job. And we were like so weirded out because like we were literally had just started doing this a week. He hadn't applied for any jobs, and all of a sudden his phone rang. And then within that same week, another person called him. Again, he hadn't applied for any jobs. Another person called him and asked him if he was interested in interviewing for a position. And both the positions ended up being amazing opportunities. And he actually accepted one, and he's at training now. But and I know in my heart of hearts, the reason that happened is because he opened himself up to the opportunity. And if he wouldn't have opened himself up to the opportunity, he would still be saying he hates his job, and he'd still be unhappy, and he'd still be focusing on all the lack instead of the abundance. And when you focus on the abundance and you change your mindset, amazing things happen. So if you're saying this is never going to work for me, it's not, because your brain's not going to let it work for you. You've got to make the switch and focus on the positive, not the negative. So don't let people steer you off that direction. If you feel negative sneaking in and you feel like you're focusing on, oh my gosh, we ran out of money, don't do that. Flip it and say, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I got to pay all my bills this month. Or, oh my gosh, I'm so thankful I paid my credit card bill. Or just find the positive, even if there is negative. Don't spend your energy on that. Like even if it's health things or family things, always find the positive. Because even if it's horrible and it sucks, there's going to be a positive lining. Like, I know several of us on this team have had cancer. I've had cancer, and I do not focus on how horrible it was because I'm not going to let that have power over me. I focus on why I'm so thankful because it made me a better person. It made me appreciate life more. It made me seek out this opportunity to be healthy because I wasn't before. And I realized how important it is to be around for my kids. And if I wouldn't have gotten it, I probably wouldn't be a coach today because it gave me, when it tried to take something away from me, it made me fight harder for what I wanted. And so always see the positive and don't let anyone steal your joy. Sorry, these slides are not forwarding right. Okay, so planning your focus. This is really something that I've been doing and I'm loving. So hold yourself accountable. You can't just say, I want to hit Success Club. Don't do that. You need to have a monthly calendar, and I want you to know how many challengers you're going to have every month. So not just, I want to hit Success Club 5. It needs to be, I'm going to find 8 people this month. And start thinking in your head about how you're going to improve those people's lives and how powerful that's going to be. Like, put a number to it. Hold yourself accountable. How many coaches are you going to recruit a month? You need to know a number for that. How many challenge groups are you going to run a month? Not just, I hope I can make enough to run one challenge group. Are you going to run one challenge group a month? Are you going to run 2 a month? You need to have it planned. How many coaching opportunity calls are you going to take part in a month? This is your business. You guys wouldn't be on this call spending your time here if you didn't want it to work. So make sure that you are holding yourself accountable, not just hoping it's going to work and hoping that people are going to find you. Know how many people you're going to find each month, how you're going to find them, where you're going to find them, and write it down as a goal. Something that's helped me a ton is I got a poster board. I'm real old school. I don't do spreadsheets and all that stuff on computers. I got a poster board and I put out 30 days on a grid on a poster board. And I said, I want to recruit 8 coaches. And so every time I would have a conversation with someone about being a coach, I would write their name in the square. So I do it every month. So you write their name in the square for the month. And then when they signed up, I'd circle their name. So now I have all these poster boards, and so I know if they haven't signed up and if they have signed up, and I know exactly how many people I'm actually talking to. Because my life coach totally called me out, and she's like, how many people are you talking to a month about coaching? And I was like, I don't know, a lot. And she's like, well, how many? And I said, I have no clue. I talked to a lot of my challengers about coaching, but I couldn't tell you a number because I'm just always talking to them. And so the BAT is great. But I was doing my BAT and I still didn't know exactly because I'll put little hashtags down or whatever. But once I had to actually put it on a board and circle their names and I knew how many people I was talking to and having those opportunity calls with, that's when it changed for me. And so again, where your focus goes, your energy flows. And when you're focusing on that, so if challengers are your most important thing right now, make a challenger calendar and write every single person you're talking to about challengers. And then you have to circle it. So you're going to know exactly how good you are at conversations. And maybe if you need to work on inviting more, because if you're talking to 20 people and you're not signing anyone up, you need to talk to your upline about what the disconnect is, where that disconnect is with your conversations. So make a poster accountability board. And you don't have to make it for all 5 things. Don't overwhelm yourself. Choose one thing this month you're going to hold yourself accountable for. So if you're focusing on challengers this month, make a challenger accountability board and write down every single person and circle them when they come into your challenge. If you're going to focus on coaching and recruiting, do that. Whatever makes the most sense for you in your business is what you want to focus on. Know your goals. So if you do not have your goals written down, that is not okay. You need to write your goals down and hold yourself accountable for them. If you don't know your goals, and if they're only in your head, those are closet goals and you're not going to meet them. So you need to know your goals, and they need to be written down somewhere. You're going to see them every day. You need to rewrite them. So when you're doing your incantations every morning, you need to rewrite your goals. So if you have a list of 5 goals for the year that you want to accomplish, don't just write them down in January and then dust them off in December and be like, oh, I totally even forgot about this goal, because you didn't even pay attention to it after you did it, just like most of us used to do. Everybody does New Year's resolutions, and about 75 to 80% of people like forget about it by February. So when you're doing your incantations every morning, also rewrite your goals. So if you have you should have 3 to 5 at least goals. You need to be rewriting them down every morning, so they're in the front of your head and you're reminding yourself and you're holding yourself accountable. Do your daily tasks reflect your goals? Make sure what you're doing every day is going to get you closer to your goals. Are you just staying busy but not moving towards your goals? You got to ask yourself if the daily things you're doing every day are moving you closer to those. So you need to make sure you have SMART goals. So SMART goals are specific. You need to know the who, what, where, when, why, and how you're going to do it. They have to be specific. They have to be measurable. You have to know how you're going to accomplish them. You need to have target dates, and you need to have a way of measuring your progress. They have to be attainable. So, for example, if you're like 80 and you're like, I want to have a baby the natural way, that's probably not an attainable goal. Like, it has to be something that's attainable. Realistic. Are you willing to work for it? If you make a goal because it's what your best friend's doing, but it's not really that important to you, it's not an attainable goal. So, a realistic goal. For example, like if everyone around you is like, I want to get out of debt. I want to get out of debt. And you're like, oh, that sounds good. That'd be nice. I want to do that too. But you don't even know how much debt you have and you're not really invested in that goal. It's not realistic for you. So make sure your goal is a goal you're willing to work for. And then timely. You need to have a sense of urgency with it, with a date attached to the goal. So just make sure that you live your life in a way that reflects your priorities. So ask yourself all those questions when you're making your goals, and something that I promise will really help you meet them is if you're rewriting your goals every day when you're doing your incantations. Learn to say no. Shalene's a big advocate of this, and so is most of the successful people I know. You must say no to some things to say yes to better things. Most all of us on this call are probably people pleasers. We like to say yes. We like to do things for others. Like, that's why we're coaches. Before you say yes to anything, you need to give yourself at least 24 hours if it's going to be a commitment for you to think about it. So don't just say yes to things when people ask you. Say, I would love to see if I can fit that into my schedule. Can I get back to you tomorrow on that? And think about it, and then go and review your goals. Go and review your incantations and ask yourself, is saying yes to this going to get me closer to where I want to be? And if the answer is no, then your answer is no. Because you have to respect yourself and your time enough and your goals to say no to some things. And it's hard. It's really hard. I like to say yes to everything. So I always ask myself, does this align with my goals? Will this get me closer to my priorities? Will this cause more stress in my life? And is it worth it? That's a big one. So for example, I love to volunteer at my kids' school. And that is one of my biggest things. That's why I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. I wanted to be with my kids every single second I got. But I started saying yes to so much stuff at their school. I was getting really stressed out. And it wasn't even things that, like, I was spending time with my kids. I was ended up doing like things for a carnival, and I wasn't even seeing my kids. I was just helping the school. And not that I don't want to. It's just you have to limit some things. You can't just say yes to everything. You have to know what's important to you. So I love this. Every time you feel yourself getting pulled into other people's nonsense, repeat these words: not my circus, not my monkeys. So when people start asking you things to do, make sure that it fits and it's not going to get you off track, because we can just be really, really busy, but we can be really, really busy not moving in the direction that we want to be going. Okay, so time blocking. I've heard time blocking so many times, and it sounds horrendous to me. I will like straight out say, like, when people are like, I time block, I'm like, oh, that sounds horrible. I don't know why I had such a adverse reaction to time blocking, but it sounded horrible. So if anyone on this call has heard of time blocking and they were really against it or like have not tried it, I am with you. But I can promise you, if you do it this way, it's going to help you so much. You guys have heard 1,000 times, block time for your power hour. You have to have 30 minutes or an hour to do your power hour. This is like that, but on steroids. So my life coach said, how many hours a day can you commit to your business? And I was like, well, my kids are in school for 6 hours, so I could do 6 hours. She's like, okay, so you just are sitting at your computer for 6 hours doing those vitals. And this is because both of my kids are in school, but this is a new thing this year. And I'm not telling you, any of you guys on this call, that you need to be dedicating 6 hours, because you don't have to do that. I grew this business with far less than that. And so I was like, well, like if I go volunteer at their school, or if they have an appointment, or if I have an appointment, or I'll do laundry, or I'll do dishes, or I'm taking care of my pets, or, go to lunch with their friends. But she's like, so you're really not it's not 6 hours. And I was like, well, no, sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. And she's like, okay, I want you to try this. What do you need to get done? And I'm like, well, I always feel so busy, but I don't ever feel like I'm moving in the direction of, I'm just busy, but I don't like have a sense of accomplishment. And so she said, how about if you can like time block 2 hours and just work on the business? So it's your BAT, your power hour, your posts, your messages, but you're not allowed to do anything else. So it's like an appointment. So I can't say, oh, I want to do it for these 2 hours, but then if something comes up, I can't cancel it. It's an appointment. It's a non-negotiable. So something I've started doing is I block 2 hours a day for my business, and I'm focused. I don't answer messages. I don't go check on airline tickets. I don't go shopping on Amazon. I don't go do dishes. I don't answer my door. I don't answer my phone. I'm focused. And so what I did is, for a week, I went through my phone and I found my 2 hour blocks. So I scheduled it non-negotiable Monday through Friday, not on Saturday and Sunday, because I take weekends too. But I scheduled 2 hour blocks Monday through Friday. If you don't have 2 hours, that's totally fine. If you want to do 1 hour, then just do 1 hour. But block, and if you have to do a half an hour here and a half an hour there, that's fine too. But you need to go into your phone and you need to block it out for a week. Try this for 2 weeks and just see how it works. Just try it for 2 weeks. So block off your time. So however much time you're willing to commit to your business a day. I hope everyone at least has an hour. If you can do 2, that's even better. But go in your phone and block it off, and you're not allowed to do anything else. You have to do your BAT. And then if you have extra time after you do your BAT, then you're going to move on. So for me, what I do when I do this is I plan my 2 hours. I do my BAT and my power hour. And then after that, I always have 2 more things every day that I choose, that if I get that done, then I consider my day a success. So, for example, today my 2 things were go to Target to get mailing supplies for some things I need to mail out, and then plan the What is Coaching call that we're doing tomorrow. So those are my 2 non-negotiables. They don't have to be huge things, guys. It's just 2 things that are on your list that you want to get done. Because what I used to do is I used to write a list of about 35 things, and then I'd feel like a huge failure because my list just kept growing and growing and growing and nothing was getting done. So I don't do huge lists anymore. And if you do and it works for you, that's fine. But for me, what I do is I do my time blocking, and I know I'm going to do my power hour and my BAT and my posts. And then I'm going to go and do those 2 other things that are non-negotiable for me. And I pick them out. So sometimes it's follow up on customer leads. Tomorrow it's going to the post office and mailing off some gifts, and it's following up with all my old clean eating groups from the last 6 months and sending them some messages to see how they're doing. So it doesn't have to be crazy things. It doesn't have to be like doing a huge team training or a YouTube video. It's just little things. So pick things that are on, like in the back of your brain, that you've wanted to get done, and make it a non-negotiable. So that's what I did for those 2 hours. And then another hour of my day is personal development, because I've invested in a lot of personal development trainings I wasn't getting done. And so I'm blocking time for those now, and they're getting done. I have Shalene's Instagram training. I have a branding training. I have so much stuff that I have that's not getting done. And so I blocked out 2 hours a day for my Beachbody business, and I blocked out an hour a day for my personal development. And it's getting done, and I have way more time than I had before, you guys. Like way more time. because I'm not just busy, but I'm focused. And I know you guys hear this all the time, but so did I. So I don't know how many of you are out there like me, because I knew I needed to do a power hour every day, but I didn't ramp it up and put it on steroids, I guess you would say. Like, this is the ramped up version and it works so well. So pick your time, just do 2 things plus your vitals, and then make sure you're scheduling time for your personal development every day, and you'll feel like you're getting way more done. So I'm walking 3 hours a day, Monday through Friday, and I'm getting way more done than I was in 6 hours. So that's something that has completely changed my business. Okay, and then I'm almost done. This is something that we've also talked about a lot, but I wanted to remind you guys. We've had like kind of a find your avatar training, but I think that people kind of forget about that. So finding who you want to connect with is so important in this business. And so this is what I have done with my life coach, because she's like, who do you want? Who's your ideal person? So she asked me 3 questions, and it really helped me find my ideal person. She asked, define who you want. So I basically said who I was before I started coaching. So women 28 through 38 who are stay-at-home moms, they're college educated, who had a career before kids, are looking for something in addition to staying home. They were athletic throughout their lives. They're married. They want to eat healthy but slip up from time to time, have a background in sales, recruiting, teaching, or the healthcare field. You guys, I just basically defined me. And I work with a lot of people, and they don't fit into this. They don't fit into this. But when I post, this is who I post to. And the more specific you can be, the better. So sit down and define who you want to work with and get really, really specific, because you got to know, so then you can post to those people versus just throwing posts out there and seeing if they stick. And then you need to ask yourself, okay, so now I know who I want. Where am I going to find those people? So you have to think about where those people hang out. So online, are they in mom groups, clean eating groups, health and fitness groups? What like pages are they hanging out on? Do you go to the gym? Are they at the gym? Random encounters, you might find them at grocery stores, kids activities, kids schools, mom days out group. Just different things for me. Yours are going to be completely different than mine. But you need to be thinking about where you can find them. And then how do you reach them? So are you running targeted ads just for those people? You can get very targeted with Facebook ads. Are you talking on a podcast towards those people? Periscope, blog, website, Instagram. How are you reaching those people? Are you telling your friends this is what you're doing? And do they know anyone that might be able to help you in your business? So don't just post to post. You have to post to the people you want to be reaching. So I know we talk about this a lot, but these 3 questions really helped me kind of frame it. So make sure you're defining who you want, where you will find them, and then how you're going to reach them. And if you're asking yourself those 3 questions when you're posting every day on your page, it's really going to help you zero in on your people. So instead of just saying, this is my avatar, I want to find people like this, make sure you're saying, this is who I want. Where do I need to go to find them on Facebook, and how am I going to reach them? And then implement that. Okay, hold on a second. I don't know why this is being so difficult. Okay, so I just wanted to wrap up. I love Dr. Seuss. 5 lessons in life from Dr. Seuss. So this just kind of recaps everything I kind of said. So today you are you. That is truer than true. There is no one alive who is youer than you. So don't try to be anyone different. Be yourself unapologetically on Facebook, and if people don't like it, then tell them goodbye, because we are helping people. We are bettering our lives. Some people aren't going to get that. Some people aren't bettering their lives, or some people may have known you a long time ago, and this new you, they're maybe threatened by, or they're just not where you are, and they are stuck in negativity. And so sometimes people, they don't mean to, but they want to drag you back down where they are. Don't let them. Don't let them dull your sparkle. Just be you. And as long as you're being you and not trying to be someone else, you're going to be successful. Why fit in when you were born to stand out? Again, like when you're talking to people, don't be scared of maybe even offending someone. Don't be so bland that you don't stand out to anyone. You have brains in your head, you have feet in your shoes, you can steer yourself in any direction you choose. So if you choose to focus on the negative, you're going to steer yourself that direction. So I know I've said this a lot, but it's so hard to just find the positive. But if you can do that, you're going to be unstoppable. Be who you are and say what you feel, because those who mind don't matter and those who matter don't mind. You guys, we have an amazing family in Soar Nation. So if you're ever feeling like you're being judged or you get a hater or anything like that, you're just sharing your truth. And that means people are sitting up and taking notice. So don't feel bad and don't let them stop you. Just come into Soar Nation or reach out to your success partners and just know you're doing the right thing. Don't let somebody else derail you. Today I shall behave as if this is the day I will be remembered. So just remember that what we're doing matters, and you are touching people even if you don't know you are. You're touching so many people in this business, and don't forget that, because all the time people will reach out and I don't even realize they've ever seen anything I posted, and they'll just say thank you, which is the coolest part of this business. And so I know I gave you a ton of tidbits and it was kind of all over because it was like a conglomeration of months and months, but it's the most important things I've learned. And we have about 15 minutes, well, about 10. Anyway, does anyone have any questions?